Hi, folks. This is just a reminder that if you like this content, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially subscribing to the video. And be sure to hit the bell notification when you do so that you always get notified whenever I have a new video out, whether it's Mysterious World or something else. These days, I usually have several videos out a week. Hope you enjoy this.
Heading up to Fargo, North Dakota now. Maria listening on Real Presence Radio. Maria, welcome. Go ahead with your question for Jimmy.
Thank you very much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Well, we're happy to have you, Maria.
My question relates to Orthodox wedding ceremonies.
Okay.
I know that the Catholic Church believes that the Orthodox sacraments are valid because they have apostolic succession. Mm-hmm. What I'm wondering specifically about, however, is I know that the Orthodox do not have any kind of wedding vows. And I was engaging with some friends recently about it, and their claim is that vows are too legalistic and they just aren't really necessary when, the vows are basically the couple coming and standing before God. So they have this different view. What I'm wondering is, one, how can I answer them so that Catholic vows are not like this legalistic type deal? And then second, how can the Catholic Church view Orthodox marriage as being valid if it doesn't have that element, if that makes sense?
Okay, well, I haven't researched Orthodox weddings, so I don't really know. There are different kinds of Orthodoxy too, and some of them may have vows, some of them may not. I don't know, but let's just, for purposes of discussion, I'll take your report that they don't have vows as accurate. Well, okay, in regard to your first question, so what are vows? Well, they're basically verbal expressions of matrimonial consent. And I would hope that your friends would agree that that there needs to be matrimonial consent in order for two people to be married. They need to agree. I take you as my wife. I take you as my husband. They don't necessarily have to say that, but they need to consent to the marriage. Forced marriages are not going to be valid. And so all vows is an external manifestation of the consent. And therefore, we shouldn't get hung up on, is this legalistic? It's just saying what you're agreeing to. It's making that consent explicit. And so, that's how I'd approach them about it. In terms of your second question about how can the Catholic Church regard Orthodox marriages as valid if they don't have an exchange of vows, well, it's because they do have an exchange of consent. It's the consent, the agreement to be husband and wife that is essential for marriage. Both parties got to agree. Whether you manifest that in a public ceremony or whether you manifest that in words, that's a secondary issue. It won't go to validity as long as the people genuinely consent to be married, then that's sufficient. And so if a particular Orthodox rite has a marriage ceremony where they don't make the consent explicit, but it's still there implicitly, then it's still going to be valid.
And I'm going to leave it there because I got to take a quick break. So I'm going to just say thank you, Maria. I hope that was helpful to you.
And before we go, just one more reminder that if you like what you've watched, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and especially subscribing to this channel. I'm trying to grow it, and I'd really appreciate your help. Thank you, and God bless.